for last night. I got an appointment Monday that I'm getting.
Hey, what's this object hanging from the rear, the windshield?
What?
That thing, yeah.
It's a radar.
Radar detector.
For ambulance and stuff, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's illegal to suspend between you and the windshield. Same with the air fresheners. Those have to come down too.
Oh my God, the air freshener. What's your badge number?
7876.
Okay. Look at this guy, got his hand on his gun and shit.
Yeah.
Talking about know what's in the car. I don't got nothing in this car.
Well, I can't see in the car because
you
it's
can
illegal
see
to windows.
what the hell?
Look at the back windows. I can't see.
The back windows are fine. You can have
they're
back
illegal.
No, the back windows are fine.
What caused you to rev your engine while you were driving by?
That's how the car is.
It pops like that.
Oh, it's unsafe? There's mechanical issues?
No, there's not mechanical issues with my car.
Okay, you need to take those down.
Hear the other cars out here?
Yeah, I hear a lot of illegal cars. Why don't you take those items down?
Can you like back up a little bit?
Why don't you take those items down?
I still want to defund the police. I will boldly proclaim that. While some shy away from this kind of messaging, e.g. Democrats, because they're told that the upticks in gun crime and homicide the last 2.5 years are due to police departments being defunded, I know that's not true. It didn't happen in any city. No city actually defunded their police department. Let's talk about it. Bring your conservative cousin over here and have them watch this. Defunding the police, simply put, means to reallocate money in police budgets to social programs and others in order to meet the needs of communities so that law enforcement, who is trained to be warrior cops, doesn't have to help with, say, a mental health crisis, which they are ill-equipped to do. Now, as the 50 largest U.S. cities reduced their 2021 police budgets by 5.2% in aggregate, often as part of a broader pandemic cost-cutting initiative, law enforcement spending as a share of general expenses rose slightly to 13.7% from 13.6%, according to data compiled by Bloomberg City Lab. Even with their budgets cuts, Seattle, Minneapolis, and Austin police were still getting 22%, 33%, and 31% of their city's budgets, respectively. None could be realistically considered defunded. Most controversies about attempts to defund in 2021 involved fights over a small fraction of a department's budget. A push to redirect $865,000 of the $23 million in Norman, Oklahoma, allocated for law enforcement erupted into citywide outrage. Asheville, North Carolina, shaved $770,000 from the $30 million originally reserved for police. Despite its anti-cop reputation, Portland, Oregon, reduced its $229 million police budget by only $8 million. With that in mind, 26 of the 50 largest cities raised their police spending for 2021. But regardless of motivation, several cities were forced to make across-the-board cuts because of budget shortfalls driven by the financial impact of the pandemic, as I mentioned earlier. Cities like Denver and Seattle had their police budget shrink in proportion and relative to the sizes of its general city budgets. Of course, if the city lost money during the pandemic as a result, then the police departments did too. Police budgets did increase less in 2021 than in previous years. Some cities simply didn't refill vacant positions after an unprecedented number of officers retired or went on extended medical leave following George Floyd's murder.
A lot of people are talking about how police departments are understaffed and underfunded, and here in Minneapolis is a short story that can explain why that's happening. The underfunded part is just not true. The Minneapolis Police Department has more cash on hand now than they did before they murdered George Floyd. The understaffed part, well, it can be explained like this. May 30th, 5 days after the MPD murdered George Floyd, an unmarked police van pulled up on people standing outside and began firing less lethal rounds at them. One of those less lethal rounds fractured the eye socket of Black Army veteran Jaleel Stallings. Jaleel Stallings fired back and didn't know who was shooting at him, but upon learning it was police, he put his gun down and laid down. Jaleel was acquitted, but then filed a $1.5 million civil lawsuit against the MPD. But who pays for that? Not the police. We do. The city does. So when we talk about defunding the police, that's not actually happening. What's happening is the police are defunding the city. The understaffed part, those 3 officers left either voluntarily or they were fired, but they earned $22,000 combined per month upon leave. So when we talk about the understaffed part, well, the police are doing that to themselves.
According to the Chicago Tribune, homicide rates also increased in cities that didn't cut spending. In Houston, a city led by a Democratic mayor, killings had increased, but so too had funding for police. Nashville, Tennessee, also led by a Democratic mayor, increased the police budget, but had seen homicide spike 50% over the previous year. Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Fresno, California also saw more killings in 2021. Both cities have Republican mayors. Tampa and San Diego also increased their police budgets and also saw spikes in homicide. Per Bloomberg, Austin had the biggest cuts to their police budget. Did they have the largest spike in homicide? No. Austin reduced its police department's budget by 32% in 2021. Then, like Minneapolis, gave it all back in 2022. And there were cities that maintained the status quo, didn't touch their police budgets either way. Politics as usual in Columbus, and you better believe the homicide rate spiked here too, despite the fact that the Columbus Police Department budget makes up a third of the city's budget, as always. I'm not saying that a decrease in police funding and less police officers didn't play a role in rising gun crime in America since the start of the pandemic, but if it were the only factor, all other or most other crime would have had a sudden increase as well. But that's not the case. Crime is still lower than what it was in the 90s, and the reasons why it increased is complex. Multiple things led to this. One more thing. So when Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and Senator Ted Cruz say they want to defund the IRS and the FBI, this is reactionary. This accounts to, well, I wanted to change it because it can affect me, or I don't like it anymore. They're against defunding the police, but it's almost like when law enforcement or government doesn't meet the needs of the people, we know we should take away its funding because we give it to them. For Rebel HQ, I'm Jeff Wiggins. My architect, no Japanese. For more from the Young Turks, stay right here. To see additional content from yours truly, click on the Jeff Wiggins hashtag. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, We Gonna Be Alright. Thanks for watching.